Welcome to our Hockey Association's webinar series, and thank you for attending tonight's session. My name's Sophie and I will be leading your presentation tonight. As you're aware, the webinar will be about an hour in duration and we have several topics that we will be covering throughout this time. You will have the opportunity to ask any questions you may have along the way by typing in the box available on your webinar link, and I'll do my best to answer them as we move through. At the completion of the webinar series on February the 23rd, we will be uploading this recording to our help desk website so that you are able to access this at a later stage and go through it in your own time. In addition, we will be uploading further help desk documentation that will provide more detail on the functions that we discussed tonight. And as always, we have our general support phone line and email address should you wish to contact any of our staff members for follow-up. So let's get started. As you can see here, I am in our One Sport Technology database and I'm in the SportsDesq console. You can see here that there are two competitions available that I have previously set up. But to get started, we're actually going to move from the bottom upwards on the tabs in order to finish with our end product of a competition that we've created. So let's begin down here on our settings tab. This is an area that we will draw your attention to later on, but basically here this is where you can set up your front-end SportsDesq portal and customize it. So you can put in external URLs, a specific welcome message if you like, any logos or background images that you wish to have, and you can have a theme as well. So at the moment we're using the Hockey Australia theme, however you do have the ability to customize this yourself, similar to the Member Desk portal. If we move up to this tab in Sports, you can see here that the sport available is hockey. Because you're aligned to the Hockey Australia structure, you'll have hockey available in your console. If we click here, we have general settings that we can update or edit, and these will apply across any competition that we create. Later on, when we create our competition, we can also edit these separately and they'll apply specifically to that competition. So here we can see we can update our points allocation. So how many points do we get for a win, a loss, a draw, a bye? If we move down here, are there default scores that are applied in certain game situations? Results, are we going to apply an overall cut-off date, and this will apply to all of our competitions. And this means how long do our competition administrators have to submit their results online before it locks off. I'll be adjusting these in our competition that we create separately, but you can adjust this in this settings tab here. Ladder ranking. So as you can see here, there are a number of statistics available in order to create our ladder. You have the option to customize your ladder depending on your competition. So at the moment, I've got 5 different statistics that I'll use to make up my ladder, with points being the most important, all the way down to score difference. If I'd like to add the number of games played to my ladder, simply drag and drop it down here. And if I want to adjust the order in which these appear in terms of importance, I can do so by once again dragging and dropping. I'm happy with how my ladder statistics are set, so I'm going to move along now to my ladder options. What are my preferences for my ladder? Does a bye count as a game played? Yes or no? Does a forfeit win count as a game played? Yes or no? You can adjust these settings in here. Ladder layout. So there's 2 types of ladders available, a basic and a detailed ladder. You can select what statistics you'd like to appear on each of your ladders. So for example, the position of teams, I want to appear on both my basic and my detailed competition ladder. Moving down, I only want byes to appear on the detailed ladder. So for the end user, they can select the ladder that they'd like to view and therefore see the relevant statistics attached. Score percentage isn't relevant for my competition, so I haven't ticked it for either one of our ladders. Save. So this Manager Hockey tab here allows us to apply settings across our whole SportsDesq module. However, as I've alluded to earlier, when you set up competitions, you can individually adjust these settings so that they only apply to that specific competition. Moving up to our Reports tab. We will use this later on when I explain how we extract reports, but this is the area in which we can download a list of specific statistics that have been inputted throughout the season. We can export out fixtures and results, player statistics, and officials as well. Organisations. So I am working within an IMG STG test database. However, in your association database, you'll have clubs that sit underneath you. So I've set up 5 separate clubs to sit underneath me in the organisational chain. You'll have access to these organisations and you can attach them to specific competitions depending on whether they play in these competitions or not. Here I have the ability to view the clubs that sit underneath me, and I can actually attach a default venue, home venue, to this organisation should I wish. This will become more relevant when we set up our venues at a later stage. Moving up to the Officials tab. Here I can set up the types of officials that exist in my competition, and I can attach existing members in my database to my officials listing. Later on, we can assign these officials to specific games. So if we click on official types here, you can see that there are several different types set up. Ignore that first one, it's a test. So I've set up junior, master and senior, and these are the different relevant amounts that they get paid. So if I wanted to set up a different official type, I go actions, add. We may call this one intern, and the amount they get paid is $5. These are my official types here. I now want to add specific officials to my listing. Actions, add, and it will only allow me to pull from members that sit in my database. So I might say that Sean Boyle is one of our umpires, and the type of official that he is a senior. This means that I can now allocate Sean Boyle to games. Moving up to our fixture templates. So as you can see, we're working our way up the tabs and we're starting to set up the parameters that will come into play when we create our competition. Here we have fixture templates. Fixture templates are the framework around which the competition is created. So without a fixture template, the system won't know the rules that you'd like to apply for that specific competition. So in the system, there are 2 options. You can manually create a template within SportsDesq, or you can upload a pre-existing numbered template from a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. In this situation, I've created a 2015 template. Because I am going to create a competition with 5 teams and I want them to play each other twice, it will be an 8-round competition and there will be 3 fixtures within each round. So for example, pink will play blue, green will play orange, and red will have a bye in each week. So fixtures are the amount of sort of games played, but byes are also counted as a fixture in this scenario. Behind this tab, it provides me with a visual of what I've created. So I've got round 1, game 2, game 3, round 2, and so on. So to create different templates, we can go actions, add. We can give it a name. Number of rounds. So I may have an 18-round competition, and within each round there are 6 games played, and there's no pools that apply here. So when we hit save, we can then view how our template would look. As I mentioned, you can also upload a template that you've created in Microsoft Excel by using the Actions Upload button. Once again, give it a title and you can upload it from your computer. If you would like assistance on creating a specific template in Excel, I would recommend that you contact your state or national body for templates that they may have available for you to use. So now we've got our fixture template created. Note that in here you can add as many or as little templates as you like. So for some competitions you may only have, for example in this case I have 5 teams, and in other competitions you may have 10 teams that play longer rounds. So you can upload as many templates as you like to match the differing competition scenarios that you have. Now we've set up our templates, we can continue moving up these tabs and continue doing the initial setup. Fixture grid we'll use later on when we want to make changes to our fixture. So I'll show you how that works a little later on. Venues. This is one of our important tabs because we need to input our venues and what time slots they have available. The system will use this information when it's allocating games to certain venues throughout the year. So you can see here that there are several venues that have been previously set up. If we view this one that I've set up recently, it's the IMG STG Regional Hockey Centre. I've given it a code, what sport it is, the type, I've put in an address. Facilities is the number of fields available, and you can give these specific names if you like. Time slots. So when is this ground available for games? If we go back here and add a venue from scratch, actions, add, the name of the venue we may call test venue, related to hockey. Number of facilities means the number of hockey fields that are at that facility. So we may say it has 2. The address, this isn't mandatory, but it does provide for a better end user experience because on the front end portal, the person that's viewing the site can actually click on the venue and get further details about the location. Here we can copy and paste Google Map coordinates should we wish for a Google Map image to appear. And I can also put in details relating to this specific venue, for example, what amenities are available if I choose to do so. I'm happy with the details I've inputted, so I click Save. Now that I've clicked Save, I can go in and I now see that 2 additional tabs have been created. I'm in the wrong test venue, sorry. Okay, so this is the one that we've recently created here. Now that I've saved it, there are 2 additional tabs that I'll need to input information into. So this allows me to name the specific field should I wish to do so. And I also have the ability to set up different sections. So in your junior competition, you may use half fields. So although you have 1 field, it may be split up into 2 sections. So instead you could change this to 2. And that would apply to your junior competitions that play on a half field, and you could allocate time slots to each of those half field. Here we input the times in which this venue is available for games. So for my test venue, it may only be available for hockey games on a Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. and Sunday as well. So that's pitch 1. Pitch 2 may not be available until 10 a.m. And we keep moving through and adding in time slots that the field is available for games. Note that once you do this initial setup, as you roll over from season to season, you'll only need to edit time slots should you need to. You won't need to do this initial setup again. We might add in another time slot here. So see here, I can start pre-filling in all my available time slots in which the venue can host games. The system will use this to allocate games to specific home grounds. Okay, so now that we've set up our venues, we can start adding in our information about our season and our competition. So we move up to this Seasons tab. I need to set up my season first so that I can link my competition to that season. So here we have our winter season 2015. I've called it winter season 2015. The start date is the 7th of March 2015 and the end date is the 31st of October. So I've stretched it out across the season. I would like it to display on the front end, and the sport is hockey. You'll see this tab here, exception dates. This allows you to input any date specific to the season in which games may not be played. The system will use these exception dates in order to ensure that games are not scheduled across this time. So I might add an exception date on this weekend. No hockey games are played at all because of the school holiday. Save. You can add in particular weekends or dates in which no hockey games are played. Save. What you can do is also archive old seasons that have already passed. For example, summer season 2014. I no longer want that to appear in my active listing. So I simply go Actions, Archive. And now you can see here it no longer appears. If I do wish to access it, I can click on Archive Listing and I can view it here. Now we're ready to create our competition. So we move up to this Competitions tab, Manager, and here we can see the list of previous competitions that have been created. So what we'll do is we will go Actions and Add and create our competition. I give it a title. What season does it sit in? This is why we need to set up our seasons first. Does it have clubs and teams? Yes. Are there divisions? For my competition, no. What's the gender? For here we'll say male and senior. Now you can see here that several tabs have now appeared. What we need to do is we now need to add the specific clubs that will be playing in this competition. So in clubs, we work our way down here. So we've set up our competition, and now I'm moving my way down these tabs. So the first one is clubs. So previously we noted that we had the clubs that sit underneath us in the hockey structure available in this organisations tab. We need to assign the clubs that will be playing in our competitions here. So to do this, we can manually add them by clicking on add, or we can add them all at once. So I'll click on add organisations, and in this situation, all 5 of my clubs will be playing in this competition. There may be instances where not every club is playing in this specific competition. So in this case, you would just drag and drop them across, depending on who is playing. So now I've attached clubs that will be playing in my 2015 association competition. Here I can view general information. There is a username and password that by default has now been set up. This will become relevant when we want to enter results on the front-end SportsDesq dashboard later on. Default venue. Do I want to assign a home venue for this team? Club Blue. I may say that Club Blue's home ground is my IMG STG Regional Hockey Centre. If everyone plays at the same venue, you can attach the same venue to each club. This is optional. Now we go down to teams. So in some situations, teams and clubs may be one and the same, and in other times you may have attached clubs, but they have a particular team name for this competition. For example, in social competitions, you may have Club Blue that's entered it, but for this particular competition, they may have a special team name that they're using. So once again, we need to add the clubs to our team list. In this case, all of the clubs are playing. If I'd like to give this team a particular name, I can click Actions Edit and change the name. If there is someone in the club that I'd like to attach as the team contact, I can fill in their information here along with an email address. And that means that they can log into our front-end dashboard using either their email or this username and the password. In this situation, I'm not going to attach a contact, but I will distribute out this username and password to the appropriate competition administrator. Team logo. You can upload a team logo in here, and this becomes relevant on the front-end portal. For each team, they can have a logo as well. So you can see that I've renamed Club Blue a particular team name. They're still attached to Club Blue, but in this situation, they have a separate name. So now we've attached all of our clubs and teams, we've set up our season, we've set up our venues, we've uploaded our fixture templates. We are now ready to generate our fixtures. Before we do that, we will review the options that we've set up for our competition previously to make sure that they still apply. So here we can see that we've got the general settings that we set up at the start, and these tabs will be familiar because we saw them earlier on in our overall sports settings. So here we have fixture. So what's the minimum number of teams required to play? I'll say 2 for this. How many rounds do they need to play? So for my competition, it's an 8-round competition. What day is this competition played on? So this will be a Saturday only. Default start time. You can adjust this using the fixture grid or in our rounds option later on. However, I'm going to say the default start time is 10 a.m. Points allocation. So this would have been set up previously in our general sports settings that we reviewed earlier. However, if there are specific settings that apply to this competition, we can input them in here. Results. When do I require results to be submitted? So this is a competition that's played on a Saturday. So I may decide that by Monday, so that's 2 days later at 12 p.m, I require my results to be submitted online. Auto disable. Do I want this to automatically lock if club administrators attempt to submit results after the cutoff date? Yes or no? So I'm going to say yes, because it allows me greater control over when results are submitted. Do I require team statistics to be submitted? So as we move down these settings, you'll see what team statistics are and what settings are in place. So for my competition, I'm going to say yes, I do require them. And once again, if it's not submitted on time, the system will prevent further results being inputted outside of the date. Is this mandatory? Yes. Do I require the list of players to be submitted after every game? Yes. And I'm going to make this switch off if people haven't submitted it on time. Team roles. So in this situation, do I require the coach or the team manager name to be inputted? So these are more relevant for support staff of the team. I may say yes, but it's not mandatory, so people have the option. Player numbers. Am I going to enforce a minimum and maximum number of players that can be added? Yes. So minimum, we need to have 7 players available on the team sheet and a maximum of 16. And I'm going to make that mandatory. So I've set up how I want my results to be submitted. Now I can review my ladder. So for this particular competition, I'm going to leave my ladder as I had previously set it up in my general settings. I'm happy with the options. So the default ladder will be the basic ladder. And as I'd set up previously, these options will still all apply for my ladder layout. Are there specific competition exception dates? So previously we added in an exception date in general for our season. So that will apply across this competition as well. So I've set up all of the settings for my specific competition. If we move down here, we can review the match types. So these are inherited from Hockey Australia. We have season and we have finals. Score types, goal, and the code is G. Once again, you can see that we've got it displayed to yes. Team statistics, red card and yellow card. If there are other team statistics that you would like to report on, you can click on Actions, Add, and input these in. Player statistics. So what statistics would you like to be submitted after each game? How many goals a player scores, red card, yellow card, green card are the current statistics available. You can add more to these if you wish by clicking Actions, Add. Oops. Sorry about that, I've just been logged out. Just going back in. Okay. Okay, so we were in statistics. Sorry for that. Player statistics. Team roles. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Do you require people to submit team roles? If you do, we have coach already set up. You can add more here if you wish. I'll make sure I won't log myself out from now on. Okay. So we've set all of our options for our competition. We've attached clubs and we've attached teams. Here, if we click the Rounds tab, we can now generate our fixtures. The system will rely on you selecting a template as well as using your venues that you've set up and the allocated times, the exception dates, and the clubs attached to this specific competition. So although at the beginning we worked our way up the tabs, when we get to creating our competition, we work our way down usually. So here we've got rounds. So we click on Generate Fixtures. When do I want my fixtures to start? So it'll be at the beginning of the season. You can see here that these dates are locked off because I previously set up my fixture to be Saturday only. I want round 1 through to round 8, and each game is weekly. The start time, the earliest time I want a game to be played is 10 a.m. and the latest time may be 6 p.m. I'm generating season fixtures at this stage. I need to select a fixture template. So the one I'll be using is my 2015 template. Extend or overwrite. If you already have existing fixtures for this competition and you wish to generate additional rounds, you click on Extend. If you're setting this up for the first time or you wish to delete anything you've previously set up and create new fixtures, you click Overwrite. Do I want to include the teams that I've set up? Yes. Do I want a random fixture time? In this situation, no. So here we can see here my fixtures are now generated. So round 1, Club Red has a bye, Pink's playing blue, and Orange is playing green. The first game is on the 10th of March and we move through like so. It will use the venues that are available in order to allocate games. And it goes all the way down to round 8, with the last game being on the 2nd of May. So this Fixtures and Results tab will become important because you can actually input results after each game in this area, or you can have your relevant club competition administrators input the results through our front-end SportsDesq dashboard. So here, if I view this game, I can actually make changes to it. So if I decide, actually, I want Pink to have a bye this week, I can adjust that here. If I want to change the date or the venue, I can do so here. So this gives me the ability to make individual changes to games. We can also do this using the fixture grid. So as I discussed earlier, the fixture grid allows us to make changes to our fixture once we've generated it. So here you can see that there are different filters available. So I may decide that I just want to filter to March. And here we can see that we've got different games that we've set up. The games will be in the unallocated column if the system couldn't allocate it to a specific venue because there wasn't a time available, or there was no venue attached to that team. So here I can see what venues I have available, and I can attach them, allocate them to times by dragging and dropping here. We can also do this above where we were previously in the Fixtures and Results tab. However, the fixture grid provides more of a visual view of what's available. So round 1 we've allocated, and now if we move through to the following Saturday, we might allocate round 2. So once we allocate them to a ground and a time slot, this will update in our Fixtures and Results tab. And you can keep working through and changing time slots should you wish. Okay. So I've set up our competition here. And now I will draw your attention back to the administrator access, because this will become important when we want to view how our competition will look on the front end. So here we can see that we've got clubs attached to our competition. This username and password provides us with access to log into the front-end SportsDesq portal and enter in team results, team sheets and statistics. Once again, this is the area in which you can view your overall fixtures. This status will update once the results have been submitted. You can also input results yourself should you wish to control submission of results by moving over to this Result tab. You can input team statistics, players, and team roles here. So now that I've set up my competition, I want to publish it so that it's viewable on the front end for my relevant club members to see. So first of all, we want to publish our fixtures and results. So we go to rounds and we simply click on no and it will change to a yes. Now that I've individually published my fixtures, I want to publish my overall competition. So I do this by going back to Manager and switching this competition to online. While doing so, I'm going to archive an older competition and switch my old ones offline. Actions, archive. So this is the competition I'd like to see online. So here we go, Actions, Portal View. And I can see here that it's now appearing online with my previously inputted logo and themes. So for round 1, Club Pink is playing Club Blue, and this is the venue here, the date and the time. The logos come into play. If a team uploads a logo, it will appear here. So to do that, we go into clubs, teams, view, and they can upload a logo here. This will show on the front end portal. You can drop it down and move to other rounds as well. So as we can see here, I've assigned these games in the fixture grid to this venue. Further by, there's no venue because it's a bye game. If we move to round 2, you can see that I've assigned these games to this venue. On the front end, the public can view the ladder, and this will use the settings that you've created. So the basic ladder is the one that we set up in our settings here. And these were the statistics we wanted to show. Points, win, loss, draw, score for, score against. We can toggle to the detailed tab and we have more things showing here. Team statistics aren't available yet because we haven't had any results inputted, same as player statistics, but these will start to populate as the season goes on. We can also download an export of the fixtures should you wish to distribute this out. So to enter results after a game, there are two options. The club contact for each team here can log into this, use this URL, and they click on this arrow. So for example, Club Pink has just played Club Blue. Being the home team, which is Club Pink, it's my responsibility to save and submit the results. The login access codes can be found under our Teams tab, and we can use this username and password information here. So for the purposes of this, I'm just going to copy it in. Oops. Okay, it might require me to put in my club contact information. Okay. So ignore what I just said previously. You need to go to the Clubs tab, not the Teams tab, and use this access information here. So I can enter in the results, and we can see that we've got a cutoff date that I set up previously in my competition. So the result for the game might have been won by the home team, which is my team, Club Pink. It was 0-0 at first half, and it ended up being 2-0. Are there any notes that I'd like to input? This could relate to injuries or any sort of significant match information that you'd like to include. Team statistics. I can input relevant statistics here, and once again, these have the cutoff date that were previously set up in the console. Player statistics. So at the moment, we don't have any players attached to our club. So I would like to add my list of players who played in this match. At the moment, there's no one available because in the database, no members sit under my test clubs. However, within your associations, under each club, you will have members, and these will be available to add to team sheets depending on their member status and what subscription they've purchased. So you can drag and drop these across to your selected players list. Team roles. So if this was relevant, we would assign the coach, but I didn't make it a mandatory option. So now that I've confirmed all this information, I hit the Save and Submit button. Note that once you click on this, you can't make any additional changes and submit them. If I wish to just make changes but not confirm these, I would hit the Save button. In this situation, I'm confident that everything is fine. Do I want to put a message in? This will now trigger an email to be sent to the away team for them to log in, and they will receive a URL in the email. They will log in using their username and password, and they will confirm or dispute the results. Once both teams, so once the home team has saved and submitted and the away team has confirmed the results, they then become official and they will be available back on our front-end fixtures here with the result in here. They will also pre-populate into our fixtures and results listing in here. So here we can see that I've saved and submitted one by home. Results submitted, yes. Has it been confirmed? No, because the home team hasn't yet logged in and confirmed my results. So this is a good way to monitor the submission of results after the game. This is what I've inputted here. So now you can see that the front-end portal can provide the general public with great information about your competition. You can copy and paste this URL into any of your association communications, and it will allow people to click on it and view any competitions that you've published. So you may have several competitions here, and they will then appear as a listing here that the member can click on and view upcoming fixtures. When results have been submitted, they will pre-populate to this page here when games are being played, and they can view the relevant ladders as well. Now, I'm also going to talk about reporting that's available. So as a competition administrator, you would like the ability to do bulk exports to view your fixtures, or potentially at the end of the season you'd like to calculate player statistics or how many games each player has played. So to do this, we go back to our reports tab, which I spoke about previously. So here we can report on several different aspects of our competition. We can do a bulk export of every competition, or we can select from our active competitions that we have available. So for example, I might want to talk about this. Do I want every round or just a specific round? Do I want all venues or just a specific venue? And what's the date range? So if I exported it now, there wouldn't be any information because our game has not yet been played. So I might filter it just for the beginning of the season. The first week. Unsubmitted, unconfirmed results. So you have the ability to do an export and it will show you any results that haven't been either submitted by the home team and or confirmed by the away team. And this can be a good way of chasing up results that you are waiting on, or to implement any systems you may have for results not being submitted on time. And you have the ability to choose the type of document you wish to export it out as. So if we click on this and export, you can see that it downloads to your computer. So here we can view the name of the competition, the ID, what round is being played, who's the home team, the score, the away team, the away score, the date of the game, the time, the result, where it was played. Submitted. A 1 means a yes and a 0 means a no in the system. Any notes? So if any teams have put in match notes relating to the game, you can export these out here. So it's quite a handy reporting functionality available for your competition. You can also export out statistics. So that would include both team and player statistics. For example, your yellow and green cards and your goals for each player. So you can once again filter down. We can also export out any officials that we've allocated to specific matches. Now, we can set up our portal and customise it. So on the front end here, we've got the Hockey Australia logo and Hockey Australia themes. Should we wish to create our portal so that it has our own theming, we can do this by clicking on Settings and uploading any specific information here. So any logos, any header, backgrounds, any colours. We can select from relevant themes that are available only in our console though. So we can provide assistance to you on customising your portal should you wish to do so. And this then creates just a customised competitions portal for your members to view. So, to summarise how we got to this point, we clicked on SportsDesq and we worked our way up. So we started off with our general settings in our sports tab and we set these up that are relevant across all of our competitions. We reviewed the Reports tab in order to export out any information we should wish to do so. We can view any organisations that sit below us in our hierarchy and we can assign any venues to these should we wish to do so. We set up the types of officials that exist in our competition and we selected members available in our database who are officials in our competition. We created our fixture template, and in this situation I used an 8-round fixture with 3 games per round. However, you can see here that we've got all different sorts of templates available here. And once again, I would recommend that you contact your state or national body for a specific hockey template should you wish to upload one from an Excel spreadsheet. We then reviewed the fixture grid and we made any changes to games as we saw fit by using the drag and drop ability here. Venues. We inputted all of our venues and we selected the available time slots. So we inputted relevant address information and what times that this venue is available for games. We set up our seasons. So I created the winter season of 2015 and had the start and end date. We then did the most important thing. We created our competition. So in Manager, I went Actions and Add. We can see here that I can view the rounds for each game. I can view the current ladder and statistics that have been inputted. We attached our clubs by clicking on Add Organisations and added them into our competition. So if not all clubs play in your competition, then you don't need to add all of them. We then attached teams with the ability to amend the name if our club has a specific team name for this competition. We then generated our fixtures based on specific criteria. I wanted my fixtures to show online, so I changed all of these to yes. Remember that this is important because when you view your portal, if you see that certain rounds aren't showing, it's more than likely because they haven't been set to yes in the publish area. Fixtures and results is where I can view results that have been submitted. So in this situation, I was Club Pink and I had submitted the results on the front end portal. This then updated in real time to show the results. Competition administrators can log in by clicking this arrow and entering results. They need to use the team login information, which is found here. Alternatively, if you wish to input all the results into the system rather than using the front end, you have that ability by clicking on our Fixtures and Results tab, going into the game and inputting the results here. This will also update onto the front end so that the general public can view the results as well. We reviewed the options that we had set up for our competition. So we'd set up the general settings here. We had set up our fixture criteria and what days we wanted competitions to be played on. Once again, these are the general settings. We inputted when we require results to be submitted and reviewed all of our ladder options and any exception dates related to our competition. And finally, we published our competition as a whole. So we went back to Manager and I changed this from, by clicking on it, the status, it pushes it to online. If I want to remove it, I can flick it back to offline. So while you're setting up your competition, you can ensure that your setup isn't viewable on the public by just ensuring that your competition is flicked to offline. And then at the end, you have the ability to archive any existing competitions by using our archive tab here. Some other points to note on our front-end portal is that the team administrator has the ability to view specific schedules. So they can click on this and see that for Club Pink, we are playing on the following days. So we won that one. So next week we're playing here. Following week we're playing here. We have the ability to export this out. And this is just relevant for my team. I can distribute this out to my team members or relevant club staff. We can also download a fixture report. So this is results. So anything that I've inputted here, I'm able to export out of the system as well. And this is what we get when we export it out. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of reporting available, both on the front end as well as the back end. Remembering that when we set up our competition, we initially worked our way up, and then once we'd set it up, we inputted our clubs and teams, we reviewed our options, then we generated our fixtures and published them so that they showed on the front end. I hope that this has provided you with an overall idea of how to create a competition and also some of the great features available on our front-end SportsDesq dashboard so that you can publicly publish your competition for everyone to see, and you can also have your club administrators input and submit results each week. Thanks for attending tonight's webinar, and don't hesitate to contact us should you require any additional follow-up to tonight. Thank you.